Good afternoon, everyone. Chris Berryman here, Coalition Builder and founder of Bringing Humanity Together. Welcome to another wonderful Wednesday edition of our Conversation for Humanity here on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. We have our special guest today. Lindsay is here with us today. She's going to come share her story with us today on Wonderful Wednesday. So stay tuned. It's going to be a jam-packed conversation with her and everything like that. So again, welcome everyone to the Bringing Humanity Together live stream. This is one of 3 open forums under the Bringing Humanity Together umbrella where people can discuss topics related to the workplace and humanity in the workplace in a very positive and constructive way. We want to know what the issues that are out there that are facing people today, because it's our goal, our mission, our passion, our purpose, and I even dare say our calling here at Bringing Humanity Together to create environments that people will love, not only in those workplaces, but also in our very communities, because we see how interconnected they really are. And as always, we'll be going live every day of the week. We have our community calls booked in at the beginning and the end of the week. We have it on Monday via Google Meet at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. If you'd like to find out how to join that, please send me a message or send Brian a message, and we'll make sure you get that detail straight away. And also, we have our other community call, which I'll be posting later on today after today's call on LinkedIn Audio, which is our other community call. So if you'd like to find out the details about that, send me a message straight away. We'll make sure you get the details. And as always, we'll be going live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And this Thursday is going to be unique because it's going to be another Bringing Humanity Together community event going beyond the paycheck. So I highly encourage everyone to join us tomorrow because it's going to be a fun-filled conversation on how we can not only go beyond the paycheck, but truly get connected with people from where they are at and what matters most to them, and really create that environment not only of one that you love, and maybe the one that they love that might just turn into the life that they love if we allow that to occur. So let's get right into the meet and greet. So hello, Lindsay. Hello, Brian. How you guys doing today?
Super deluxe. Thanks for having me, Chris.
No, thank you. Thank you for being here. And Brian, I know you're doing great things in PA because I'm sure the weather is nice.
Yes. Yeah, it's actually real nice today. Started off with a little bit of rain, but it was just a little tiny shower.
How are you guys doing today?
It's pretty much dried up by now, though. But yeah, we're doing excellent.
Awesome.
Ready to rock and roll.
Well, we're glad that you guys are here, especially Lindsay. Like I said, the many conversations that we've had with Jan Barlow and Isabel and Susan Hubbard and so many other different people is really just inspiring to me of what you're really all about and everything like that. And I know that you have been literally across this country, and I know you kind of do it between Seattle and Florida and everything like that. I know you'll get into it, but I got to ask you, how can you actually go from West Coast to East Coast? How does that affect you on when you do that? How does that show up to you when you have to go to the West Coast and say, I got to be here now?
It's actually hilarious, to be honest. It's so messy. My calendar, when I put something in it, I have to remember which time zone I'm going to be on when I'm making the appointment. So people will ask me, oh, hey, can you meet at this time? And I have to think, where am I going to be? What time will it be there? And how will that actually work? So it's a little bit messy, but outside of time, it's pretty easy. I love being on planes. I love crossing the country. I love meeting people from all over. So it's good.
Well, for me, I'm not a big fan of, I won't say necessarily the time zone, but I know people have had jet lag, and I have gone through that. So it's one of those kind of things. So it's just about one. Now, I got to ask you this too, Brian. Have you had that issue that you really have gotten that jet lag and everything like that?
I only was in a plane once out to California, and actually that was broke up into 2 other additional flights because I ended up missing my one plane and I had to reschedule and stuff, so they rerouted me and everything. But it was really neat. It was a long time ago, so I'll be honest, I can't remember about jet lag, although I will say that after that rigmarole, that was a long day. So I can imagine I was really, really tired. And
I,
we were getting ready for a wedding the next day with a friend. So
I'll
that
just
was
say
a little
too,
rough.
yeah, the hardest part I think to on jet lagging is when you're heading east. So it's the
Mm,
eastbound flying that creates, for me, I get more tired. Westbound flying, no matter where you are in the world, and if it's 3 hours or more, it seems like it's easier because you get all this time back, but you lose so much time
Yeah.
going eastbound. But by the time I'm in, London or Lisbon, I'm exhausted. Like that's just,
mm.
I've lost an entire day and I don't know where it went and it makes me tired. So yeah.
Well, now that you
I know
say
how you
that,
feel.
on the way back from our trip, I was really tired. That was an early morning, and I believe I slept the whole way. So, and here
Totally.
I wanted to see the Rocky Mountains and everything, and I totally missed them. So,
Oh,
oh well.
boo. It's
That's why you
funny.
just make a trip to drive through them.
Totally.
Well, hello there, Philip. How are you doing today, sir?
Hey, life is great. I'm making connections and talking with great people, and what else can I expect? Uh, oh, just to let you know, I thought of you the other day, Monday. I was sitting here just doing my normal stuff and everything, and I came across this posting that the new mayor-elect here in Jacksonville and her transition team were having a meeting at the town hall. And so I was like, I'll go. Man, there was only like 20 people there. But I looked at it, and so I got in front of all of them. And you know how difficult it is to get the decision makers all in one room, and especially right before they get sworn in.
Oh, wow.
And so it's the first female mayor of Jackson or ever of
Oh, that's
Jacksonville.
awesome.
And she made some great campaign promises
Hmm.
about bringing Jacksonville together. And so I sat and I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? This is the only time, and it's all about timing. There's a reason why I saw it when I did and made the conscious decision to go act upon it. So I went down, wore my Ale Solutions shirt, and got filled out their public thing, and was able to stand in front of them and look at them and tell them they are the brink of an opportunity to make Jacksonville the best place to live in the world.
Definitely. Cool.
And it's up to them to make things happen and break the stigma of the past. And that's what I was looking at it, because initially I was like, well, let's make it the best place in the United States. Nah, you want to do it lofty. Every place you go to around the world has a draw. The Eiffel Tower in Paris, the buildings, everything. Each city, they're just a city. Why can't Jacksonville? Because it's the largest city in the continental United States
Yeah. By
with
area. Yeah.
811 square miles.
So cool.
And I looked at her and I was like, and I told her that she inspired me because I wasn't going to come. But you know what? When would I ever get this opportunity again? And so I took it, and she seemed quite receptive to it because I explained to her, use veterans to fill in those positions that she's having trouble getting people to do. I said, you don't understand. I have 4 years in Iraq. I've done it in national, international, and all over, and with emergency management. no one will give me the opportunity. And she was like, well, I was just saying that veterans would be perfect for all these positions because they already have the knowledge.
Cool.
And all we need to do is give them opportunities because it's a huge military town.
Big time. All of
And
Florida, really.
well, and the thing about it is, I don't care about the politics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a registered Republican, but you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't care
Mm-hmm.
about that. It's about getting people to come together to have the inclusion, the diversity, because we're all living in this box together. Why not? Let's work together and embrace the diversity rather than trying to segregate. But that's my weird philosophy of it all. So I just look at it as I thought it was neat because it goes along with what we've been talking about is bringing humanity together. Then we can figure out, okay, oh, wow, we don't have to use many resources to do it. Yeah, it's a mindset. That's why when you go to Hawaii, people drive under the speed limit because their philosophy is, I'm in paradise. Where do I have to rush to? And that mindset is prevalent. And the people from all over the world go there. So why not make this? And right now, there's so much potential. And I told them, I said, you guys have the opportunity for the next 4 years to make a difference that couldn't happen last year. And I don't believe in sticking to party lines. I believe that everybody working together will bring the unity needed to change the mindset. And you know what? Make it to where people want to live here rather than the kids going, this sucks and wanting to get out. Because no matter where they go, it's the same crap. Because every city in there's structure to it. It's the people that make it different. Because I've studied cities. I don't know, maybe that I don't know too many people that find it interesting to see how they create and sustain livable cities. And it all starts with a seed, and we're that seed to be planted all over the place because it's needed and it's something we don't talk about enough. But yet we all can agree on it. Well, if we all agree, then why don't somebody do something? Well, I was waiting for that. Well, no, do something. Take action. Call to action about our humanity. And I just like it. So I just wanted to bring you guys up to date. I'll relinquish the mic.
Thank you so much, Philip. And I see we have a few more people here. Hello, Carla. Hello, Isabel. Hello, Miranda. How are you guys doing today?
All good, thanks.
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
I can't complain. It's another great day to be alive and another gift not only to receive but to give as well. Glad that you guys are here. Carla, I know you probably might be on the move. Are you just getting done with Dad today?
Yeah, I'm driving home. Hey, everybody. I'm going to mute and listen.
All right. Thank you so much, guys, for being here today. And James is coming on right now. So before we get into the conversation with Lindsay, first and foremost, I have to thank her so much for taking time out of her day to be here with us. She is just an amazing soul in and of itself. So she is just truly a godsend, I truly believe, not only to each and every single one of us, but literally to humanity as a whole. And I believe her story is going to truly not only inspire us all, but it's going to inspire people that we don't even know that's going to be watching this and everything like that. Because I truly believe not only the stories matter, but those stories can stick to us in such a way and creates an opportunity. It creates a way to connect us and everything like that, and really kind of bring us together like no other time. And if we just take a step back and see what is actually there and everything like that. So let's get right into it. Lindsay, it is now time for you to share your story here on Conversation for Humanity. Glad you're here with us today on Wonderful Wednesday. The floor is yours, ma'am.
It is a wonderful Wednesday, Chris. I'm just curious for this group what it is that would be most interesting to hear. But I will tell you my story, my brief story. And then I'm more of a kind of person who operates like a facilitator rather than an educator. So I'll probably be asking questions so that I can answer them myself. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Washington State near Seattle in a little town that many of you've probably heard of called Redmond. It was the hometown to Microsoft, and I graduated from Redmond High School the same year that Microsoft started. So I have a very deep and steep background in the fields of technology. My father was in computer science my whole entire life. He was in the Navy for 5 years. And when he got out, he finished a degree in computer science. And I've been a kid who's been around technology my whole life. And I lived in literally maybe second only to Silicon Valley, the world's capital of all things tech. Some of the biggest companies have been born out of that particular area. And I watched it all go from 2 people in a garage thinking about it all the way up to the size companies that you experience today. What's fascinating about all that is that in my process, in my growing up, I thought for sure that I was going to go to school. I went to Pepperdine University, and I thought I was going there to become the next Barbara Walters. I really loved interviewing people. I loved hearing their stories. I loved getting to know them and sharing that story with other people. And I went to Pepperdine and studied television production, and then got turned on to religions of the world and business school. And I went, what is this? Like, it was so not at all what I was anticipating when I got to university, but it was absolutely what I wanted to learn. So I studied everything from communications to business operations to television production. So I kind of did the whole gamut. And what ended up happening for me as I grew into my wings and started understanding life better, when I was about 27 years old ish, I became extremely aware that there was a version of me that was an identity that I thought I was. And there was a version of me that lived as a soul. And I could actually communicate that at age 27. And I went on a spiritual quest to try to understand, well, what does that mean? It didn't make any sense to me. I just knew I could articulate it. And so from there, I did so many things, learning and growing and developing and looking internally rather than externally, and listening to many of the information bites that come from religion, philosophy, and other places, all the while working as an organization development consultant and coach inside companies. So I was a leadership coach and developed a lot of businesses into things. Long story, very, very fast forward, because we have to double my age now. I'm now double that age. I I have really gone through a transformation in my life, understanding that being an entrepreneur, serving entrepreneurs, and wanting to create more entrepreneurial endeavors is my purpose and passion. And my company is called Imaginal Ventures for a reason. And I'll tell you that story here in a minute. But I love watching the individuals, like all the people on this call and anybody who's tuned in to listen. If you're called to serve humanity, we're here to build Butterfly World. And we have to find each other swiftly, and move into action around what will be the new. Many, many, many things are breaking down. But that's okay. Breakdown is awesome as long as we're starting to build the bridges to the new. And I think that's why we're here. And it's my love and connection to this organization and to the many others that I work with now that are trying to do the same thing. We're all going to team up. We're all imaginals. So, Chris, if it's appropriate, I'll share the story of what is an imaginal. And I think everyone on this call will be nodding their head and going, yeah, that's me. When a caterpillar feels the call to go to the chrysalis, they don't really know why they're going to this chrysalis. They just know that it's a tap on the shoulder and it's time to go. They build a chrysalis, they go inward. They start to literally disintegrate. It turns into a beautiful and glorious goo. Everything comes undone, and it's an absolute, nothing is recognizable from the original caterpillar once they're in that cocoon. From that goo emerge the first cells that are trying to come together to form a butterfly. And in the very beginning, the immunity cells of the original caterpillar try to kill off those initial cells. And it's a battle, literally a battle. And then all of a sudden, the imaginals, which are those first cells, they start to find each other, and it gets faster and faster and faster. And they start finding, I'm a wing cell, I'm an eyeball cell, I'm a toe cell. And they all build the part of the butterfly that in time, the entire transformative process comes together and the butterfly eclodes from the chrysalis. I believe that humanity is in that same exact transformation process right now. And we are literally witnessing the undoing of the caterpillar while also raising our hands and going, I'm an imaginal. I just don't want to get killed off by the immunity cells. So we're trying to find each other as swiftly as we can with the intent of knowing our own purpose. It's our purpose combined with others who share that purpose that become the next whatever it is for Butterfly World. So that's my business. That's what I do, is I try to find other imaginals and I bring them together for reasons to connect, and then whoosh, let them, if I can, I support them in guiding and in what they need to do next. But the idea here is really to define your own darn self. You know, who am I here to be? And it had, just so you know, it has absolutely nothing to do with my mind-driven, ego-driven, program-driven identity that I had when I was 20 years old. And you have to let that all drop. I am not Barbara Walters, but I do have the energy of someone who cares about the stories of others and wanting those to come together to support humanity's future. So in a nutshell, that's why I do what I do. And I love it.
So the question then becomes, Lindsay, and I've said this many times on our broadcast, and I want to get your perspective on it, is that the better question to ask is not what you do, what you do, what you do. The better question to ask is, who are you? What say you, Lindsay?
That's a really easy question for me to answer, and I love it when I get it. I am a mentor, I am a muse, and I am a mom. And all of the energies of those three things, if you have any inkling about them whatsoever, you could, the doing part, you could make me a barista in Jamaica and I'd still be those three things. That's who I am. I'm a soul in an immersion suit who is absolutely designed to mentor others, to find their magic and bring it to life, to inspire others, and to be a mom who cares that it really happens. That's it. And anybody who knows me knows that that's exactly what I am all day. So it's an easy question for me. I've been working on that since I was 27.
So let me ask you this then, Lindsay, and we'll open it up to everyone else too as well. Do you do it from a place of intentionality? Because that's what one of our great team members here at Bring Humanity Together, Carly, has said that maybe if we do things from an intentionality standpoint, but also from a flow standpoint, and just let that be, can we not only create that environment with those other people in tow, whether to be at work, whether to be in our community, whatever, but can we do that in a way that they really then again at the end of the day know who we really are?
Yes. So the key word in that, Chris, is surrender. So I literally am a vessel for source. Information comes through me and to me because it's time and I'm supposed to have it. And I am literally functioning on a day-to-day basis in a state of surrender to what is. In other words, yes, I can practice putting things in a calendar. Chris will know, that putting things on a calendar for me sometimes can be a challenge because I lots of things come to me in exactly the right time that they're intended to be, including today. Like this is meant to be here now today, and I am too. So what I notice is that my beingness, my immersion suit, I call this thing called a body that my soul is in. This suit is having an experience of the earthly plane, but my soul is infinite. And when I bring in the infinite part of the soul and just allow the suit to move with the soul instead of my head, this thing goes everywhere. Like it's amazing what happens to this experience. And I think my daughter really taught me this a long time ago. If she was watching this right now, she'd probably laugh at me. But there was a fabulous movie called Pacific Rim that tried to create what I'm describing here as an expression of how it kind of works. And, when you jump in your machine, the immersion suit as a soul, now all of a sudden you have a mission, but the intelligence of the thing inside doesn't know and the machine doesn't know, and so they're still trying to figure it out. Like what are we supposed to do together? And I don't even understand how this thing works, let alone all that other stuff. So so the journey of life is to try to really step into what is my soul and what's its mission, and then in this immersion suit surrender, because it's moving in a direction in flow with all the other immersion suits. And if the brains get out of the way, but the hearts get connected, all of a sudden magic starts to happen. And I've experienced that in numerous occasions with teams of people. And examples of that are like SEAL teams and really amazing high performing dance teams and other things like that. They are a oneness in their energetic being and they aren't thinking. It's not about the mind. So the hardest part for humanity right now is letting go of the head. Truly. And it is difficult. We become so believing that who we are is the identity that we intended for ourselves. It's not our intention. It's the capital T source, whatever intention for this immersion suit. And it's the discovery of that makes it so fun. Like, oh, that's mine to do. Cool. That's not cool. I can tell you for sure, I was not intended to climb any mountains. And yet, just a few weeks ago, my daughter calls me up and says, "Hey, Mom, would you mind taking a drive with me up to Mount Rainier so I can just clear my head and be up in the mountains?" And I went, "Yes, I'm surrendering. Go." That whole notion, 10, 15 years ago, I probably would have found all the reasons why not to go. And now it's like, I guess that's where I'm going today. Mount Rainier. Here we go. What's that about? So we still have limitations. We still have things that don't flow, things that hurdles to get over. And, Abraham Hicks says it really, really well. You'll never get it right and you'll never get it done. So just keep on trucking. And the more you can surrender into what you really, truly are here to be and do and experieence, the easier this gets. And it's easier to find your other imaginals too, by the way. If I was up to building a child care or a daycare school or something, immediately I'd find 25 imaginals that were up to building a daycare, childcare situation. Well, that's not mine to do. So I'm not finding them. That's, it's not they don't come into my field and vice versa. And I think many of us who on this call are in Florida were called here recently too. Like I lived in Washington my whole life until 4 or 5 years ago. And I had the tap on the shoulder and my cocoon became Florida. 100%. And I've now become butterfly and I'm working on Butterfly World. Round 3. I think I'm on Lindsay version 3.0 or something. I don't know where I'm at. Whatever this is, So, to simplify it too, and I loved the question. I want to simplify it just really basically. if you have your phone, your cell phone right in front of you, many of us are aiming toward and really accept that we want to be or are the operating system of an iPhone 14. But sometimes we feel like a Motorola flip phone. And when you're feeling like your operating system isn't fully functioning in the world, you don't feel effective, you're feeling like you're kind of lost and skipping a beat and I don't get it and what's happening, that's a good time to do some reflective work on what this immersion suit and what the soul is wanting to be in a surrender state, because it's those little glitchy things that are pointers to it may be time to go to the chrysalis for a bit. And that was just something I learned maybe about 5 years ago. So, yeah.
I love it, Lindsay. There was a reason why you were supposed to be here today. That's literally showing us that we can take that step back and let go. And see, I truly believe this is an opportunity for each and every single one of us to actually let go. Because sometimes if we're not willing to even let go of the things that holds us back, we're always going to be held back because we're always getting into that mindset of, I'm stuck in this hole right again. Why am I here? And then we get into that very, what insanity really means is that we're expecting that different result and we're doing it over and over and over again. And then next thing you know, like, why? Why am I here? So let's go around the room and let's hear from everybody today. Let's start with this Isabel. Isabel, it is your turn right now, ma'am.
Hello. Yeah, no, I just wanted to say hi, and we'll go on to the next individual.
Isabel's not feeling like talking today. It sounds like she's in a cocoon herself right now.
Well,
She's been probably
I
talking all
do.
day.
I think something's coming forth, but it's not right. I do.
It's not there
Lindsay, you're
yet.
going to spark it, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm ready to spark something. Let's go, girl.
We'll have everyone introduce and say hello and then dive into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Totally.
Yay.
Okay, so on that note, let's do that. So James, we'll start with you. Please say hello and introduce yourself to Lindsay and tell Lindsay what brought you to bring humanity together.
Lindsay, how are you?
Awesome.
So, I'm James Petrone. Currently, I am training in financial services, and I'm a poet of 20 years, and I'm also a child of learning from the great Isabel, and I've taken a few classes with her and everything.
Love that.
So, what brought me to bring humanity together is the simple fact that we are all a purpose-driven machine. Now, do we operate on technology? Yes, but it's our ability to manifest ourselves and drive ourselves past that situation. So bringing humanity together is the vehicle that's going to bring us together. And Chris has done a great job with this. And, he's about to bring it even further into the realm of our forthcoming into the light, if you will. So, it's like a dragonfly. When the dragonfly first reveals itself to you, it's skitty. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know if you're gonna hurt it, or you don't know if it's gonna hurt you. You have to earn that trust with the dragonfly. So, it's all about how we bring together our ability to see each other as one person. And I've used this quote before, Chris, and I'm going to use it again. It comes from an indigenous storyteller named Kenneth Littlehawk. He had taken a trip to the Netherlands and learned how to say a quote to the people. And it goes, Dein Hart, Mein Hart, Ein Hart. And what that translates out to be is your heart, my heart, one heart.
I love that. Thank you, James. That's awesome. Where are you located, James?
I am located in central Massachusetts.
Nice. Okay. Very
Former
nice.
custodian as well.
Welcome. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you so much, James. We'll go over to Miranda. Miranda, please introduce yourself to Lindsay and tell Lindsay how you got to be here at Bringing Humanity Together.
Hello, Lindsay. Such a
Hi,
pleasure to hi. Such a pleasure to hear your truly inspiring and genuine story. I really found myself through what you were talking about. To get back to the question, my name is Miranda, and I come from Kosovo, which is a small country in South Europe near Italy. And by profession, I'm an HR professional over 15 years. And now I'm into this coaching and training. Just like you mentioned, that it is I believe that now I understood that my call is coaching and helping and supporting others be a better version of themselves. So I found this community randomly, but I never left ever since that night that I joined, because I quite like to discuss about humanity. And if you see it, humanity is very multidimensional, and each of us has its own path and call, and yet we have a lot of things to share, but the purpose is the same: to make impact, to change, to help others, to bring humanity together. in one word. Yeah. Thank you.
Beautiful. I love your vision and your energy. Thank you, Miranda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miranda. We greatly appreciate you. Over to you, Isabel. I'm sure Lindsay already knows, but let's share with everyone else what brought you to Bring Humanity Together. And I know she probably knows you, so no introduction needed, really.
Oh, she knows me.
On so many levels.
On so many levels.
Oh my God.
I actually met Lindsay in person the other day and had lunch with her, and we're definitely part of the same soul family. It was so funny. I was like, I walked into her beautiful home, and I don't even know if I said hi, Lindsay, but I was like, "Are you Mary Magdalene?" Like,
She did.
what?
That's what she said, literally. I went, wow, that's cool.
I'm like, "You're Mary Magdalene order.
I
What?"
love it.
And it was just so great. In fact, I was sharing with some friends, and I said, "Yeah, it's so great connecting with Lindsay, because she's like traveled to like 49 countries, and just her connections, and just her purpose here to assist creating or returning to the old Earth, new Earth, however, ancient Earth, whatever you want to call it." And she was telling me quotes. She could remember quotes, which is weird because I had studied religion, and Lindsay, like, they've completely wiped it for me. Like, I don't remember anything, and it's a recent phenomenon. I was able to remember just maybe 6 months, a year ago, and now it's like wiped. Like, I never took anything. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't care. But so last night I got a download, and this is for you, Lindsay.
Ooh,
Here it is.
here it is.
We were talking about you with two other light workers. And we were talking about the Old Testament and New Testament. And I said, "Oh, my friend Lindsay and I showed a photo of you. I said, "This is my sister, Mary Magdalene Order." I said, "She was able, you gave a quote from Jesus or Yeshua to let go of Moses' rules, right? Was it something to that effect, right?" And I have been asking Spirit a lot. I'm like, why do we have the Old Testament with the New Testament? Why didn't we have it in two separate books? Because they're so very different. All of a sudden, I get like the chills and the downloads. And okay, I'm going to ask you guys so we can play a game. Why do you think the Old Testament and the New Testament were kept together? They really could be two separate books, guys. They could have gone
King
two
James
separate
did it.
different paths. Why do you think
King
they were kept together?
King James did it, didn't he?
Nope.
Lindsay is my historian.
Well,
will
Lindsay,
then
how long have we
educate
been
me.
together?
No, no. It has a lot to do. Well, I'll let some other people answer. I'd love to hear the answers. Like, what do people say about this? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'll let you know what Spirit gave me last night.
I'd
Go
love
ahead.
that. Yeah.
Anyone else? So you, Phil, you think it's with King James, and why do you think King James did it?
Well, it's because when he brought them all together and merged paganism and everything into it, and he got with all the clergy, they got in a big room and wrote the Bible.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Brian, I know you've got something that you're thinking. Come on, Brian.
Well, I would have to say to be used as a reminder of our past and where we came from and where we're going.
Okay, I love it.
And as a guide as well.
I love it. James, Miranda, Chris.
So I'll just chime in. It sounds like nobody else has a chiming, but my understanding of it is they are the two covenants with God. And the first was the covenant of that was intended to support us as a humanity that was living pre the times of Christ. And the second, when he showed up, was to just remind us that that first thing was to help us get where we are. But the second covenant is that we are to love ourselves as we love our neighbor. And the truth in that statement is that it transcends the original covenant. Everything in the original Old Testament was stories of Hebrew and Judaism and background and humanity and yada yada. But when Jesus came to the earth, he brought the message of love. So they're kept together to remind us that we're all together. I also know that in the Jewish faith, they did not believe, some Jewish faith sects do not believe that Jesus was the Messiah. And so in their faith, the Messiah is still coming, which is really cool. And I actually really appreciate and love that too. Many people and many religions of the world do accept that Jesus's message was love thy neighbor as thyself. And the operative, most important part of that is to learn to love yourself first. And that is one thing that doesn't get discussed, but we can have a whole other battle on that one. So go ahead, Isabel.
Okay.
We learn something new every day.
All right, Lindsay. This
Okay,
is it. I thought
go,
this
girl.
was so freaking
Woohoo!
cool. I can't stand it.
Oh,
So Spirit said they inspired the humans to put the two books together to show us polarity. The Old Testament was fear-based,
Mm.
and it was for us to see the polarity of fear moving into love. But the reason why it's bound in one book is because that contrast is unity and oneness. So if you look at the Bible
Love it.
as a polarity, as a scale from moving from fear to love, and then accept the fear, accept the shadows, accept the judgment, accept that Old Testament stories, because that God was very judging, right? And patriarchal. Then when you accept that and love that, then you can move into the oneness and love what Yeshua was cultivating within us. So I said, okay, I totally see the oneness and the polarity and the contrast and the yin and yang. All right, I'm picking up what you're putting down, team. Okay. I said, but what about the divine feminine? Why was that not incorporated in our human history?
Mm.
Get this. I said, shut the front door. Okay. So the divine feminine aspect was sanctioned and allowed to be omitted in the story and go with the patriarchal hoopla because they knew when we fell from Atlantis from 5 to 3, the divine feminine within each of us is your intuition and spirit. And so when we omitted the divine feminine aspect within us, it would allow us to fall from grace. And so it must be omitted to not connect with the divine feminine, your intuition, so that we could have the experience of separation.
I love that.
I know. I was like, son of a gun.
I know.
Mind blown.
Mm-hmm.
So now the divine feminine aspects, we're now being balanced within all of us because we must have both. We must have the logic and the emotion, the masculine and the feminine,
Mm.
and bring that unity within us so it's balanced within us. And then that would bring balance and harmony throughout our species because we are no longer rejecting a part of us. And if you think about it, it's weird when a man cries, what do we, oh, you sissy. We don't go, you manny, right? And so it matters not. I don't really care. But it's curious that the divine feminine is picked on, and that is our way to enlightenment.
Yeah.
I just think it's ironic and beautiful and amazing.
It's really cool.
It's so cool.
Thank you, Spirit, for that injection of information. Woo!
I know. It was so cool because I got to see it, Lindsay.
Wow.
I got the download, so I like saw it and like full chills, and I'm like, what?
What? Wow.
Yeah, and you were a catalyst
Well, thank you.
because when Yeshua said to throw out Moses' laws, I was just like, really?
Really? That's what we're doing? Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, cool. Nice.
I just got a quick question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Do you think it was suppressed on purpose to where we can't get to where we're at now?
Yes.
Mm.
So Lindsay and I, we've talked about this, right?
Yep.
So I'll just tell you from my Isabel Zimmerman perspective, and you got to listen to Lindsay's perspective because it's freaking cool because she actually experienced it in this incarnation. So in my incarnation as Isabel, I didn't really personally experience it other than in the corporate world or whatnot. So it was mild. It was just mild. It's just ego. Who cares? However, as the spiritual entity that I am now, there are many of times where I have to have meetings with, I call it the old energies of the high priest. They're ancient high priests, very, very old, old guys, old. And they'll understand that there's no wrong in the universe. And I say to them, I understand that there's no wrong in the universe, but don't deny my experience to let the horses out of the barn. If the horses want to stay in the barn and eat their oats and occasionally have a carrot, that's fine, because that's what the high priests do. They tend to their horses. They put little shoes on their hoofs. They give them carrots and oats. They give them shelter. And that's their argument, by the way. That energy, their argument's like, well, they gave away their power, Isabel. They gave their power to us. Well, Isabel, we take care of them. Do we not? And so as the high priestess that I am, I say, that may be so, but this is the time to empower our brothers and sisters. And the horses that want to remain in the barn, so be it, because there is no wrong. But do not deny my experience of freeing those horses and saying there are wild cherries and a beach to run in. It matters not. It is up to that individual to choose. And so, yeah, very much so. That energy is here, and it's been here for a very long time.
Cool.
Yeah, so Lindsay has experienced that energy in humans.
In humans. Yeah. In choosing. Choice is in front of us now. The entire planet is being called to choice, really. And whether or not we will choose to surrender to what we are here to be as children of God or children of Source, however someone wants to think about it, or if we just can't handle the ascension process and move toward that, our options are different choices. And it's hard sometimes for those of us who have chosen, of course, to live this existence and to step into that understanding and the surrender, to watch those who struggle with it. And I know we've all been there. There have been people in our lives that just don't choose to come along to the higher calling. They want to stay stuck in the hamster wheel or in the chrysalis. They don't want to come out. And I respect it. I very much respect that happens, and I have no judgment around it. It's more just a compassion and an understanding that it happens. And it's our job to just keep the course, stay doing what we do. And that's okay. So, anybody who's in the Conversations for Humanity circle are going to be people who are generally called and want to, and make their choice known, that they are in this soup called evolved humanity. And we just go and we'll figure out who our other imaginals are so we can build this new world for all of us to enjoy, whatever that's going to look like. I don't know. Nobody really knows, but we all have pieces of the puzzle. So cool. And the more we surrender, the more we learn.
And I'm loving this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, it is really awe-inspiring in and of itself, but this is what comes up for me. And Isabel knows this, and you guys are talking about the Bible and all that just a few minutes ago. This is my take when it comes to the Bible, so to speak. I just truly believe everything's interconnected. Everything is there, and here's why. Why would you end up having one book but not the other? Think about it. Because if you just start one book and end it on that note, then what do we know on our next chapter or our next book? Why would you just stop at one? And see, I'll even look at life that way, because I just truly believe that it's like Star Wars has changed my life like you'll never know, Lindsay. It has, because I see that it's a force that unites us and binds us together. Yep. There's a higher purpose that we can not only achieve, but really say that there is something bigger for us there. There's something better for us there. And when you're talking about choice there, Lindsay, it comes to mind this, and I want to hear from you first on this. Lindsay, it just really calls to me in this. Do you believe that choice is the ultimate path to freedom?
Actually, I'm not sure, because I haven't found the ultimate path to freedom. In fact, Isabel and I were talking about this over the weekend. it seems to me like the journey of ascension, which means to enlighten, it means to get lighter, it means to become more effective, use wisdom instead of knowledge. There's a lot in that I'm packing up in that. I think choosing life, choosing to live, choosing to be what you were designed to be by the creator, whatever that is, that choice is the ultimate freedom, because you're allowing yourself to be very authentic, whatever is in this being. But I don't know, Chris. I mean, it was a great question. And I would just love to hear what other people have to say about that, because I don't have an answer. I would just say how it's worked for me is to choose to surrender. And that is providing ultimate freedom.
So let's go around the room. I ask you, Miranda, is choice the ultimate path to freedom?
This is very difficult question to answer, but maybe I would like to ask a question to Lindsay about the intuition, and Isabel that mentioned. Do people who listen to their intuition are prone to freedom, and those who ignore it are meant to live by not being free?
I'm shaking my head. Yes, Miranda. I don't know if you can see me, but
Yeah.
my sense of it is, and my experience would say yes to that. And fun fact, I have been called recently to start a Center for Rapid Enlightenment with some colleagues who are in my circle. And with that intention of supporting people in finding what I'm calling intuition confidence, because what we're not taught is how to trust our intuition, right? And we don't know, and our minds get hooked by a lot of things that are in our past or our experiences of our past. Once we learn the aspect of our own intuition, how it works, what it does for us, and that we can trust it, that is freedom for sure.
Thank you. I totally agree. We sometimes choose to ignore the intuition because of we want conformity, we want to align with other people, with standards that society has set and all that. But there's something within us that asks, no, go this way, you know. And the more we listen to our intuition, the more free we are. I agree with this. So.
Yeah.
Great conversation, really. I'm enjoying this. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So I ask you, Brian, is choice the ultimate path to freedom?
Well, in our humanness, normally I would say no, because in our humanness that would lead to destruction. But on the flip side of that, the Lord has given us a choice. He doesn't force us to do anything. And it's in that choice that He's also giving us another option to go ahead and make, well, I don't want to say that, but to put our focus on what's good and what's right and stuff like that. And when we do that, that's when we receive a more of a clarity about our lives and stuff and what we're here for and our purpose and stuff like that. And then not only that, when we see that within ourselves, then we can also look to each other and also see where we fit in that respect as well, and how we're supposed to support each other and stuff like that. So yeah, I think then in that case, choice is the path to ultimate freedom. Then.
Thank you so much, Brian. So I'll go to you, Miss Carla. I know you've been listening in intently and everything like that. So I ask you, what's your thoughts, number one? And number two, is choice the ultimate path to freedom?
Hey, Lindsay, it's great to meet you. I hear you're in Florida, and kind of backtrack. I met Chris in 2020.
Oh,
He
cool.
had this thing called, bringing humanity together, and I was like, okay, let's figure out what this is about. I knew nothing about it, but I said, okay, I'll take a look at it. And so I've been around since then, watching it transform and grow. I am a retired nurse and nurse practitioner after nearly 40 years in healthcare. And I now work with people in health and wellness and have a e-commerce franchise business with a global company and love what I do. I was called to do this because I was taking care of my own health and loved it and decided that I wanted to have a different path in life and wanted more time with my dad at the time. That was 5 years ago. I want to say 4 years ago, 2019. And got laid off from a job, and God told me, okay, you wanted to grow your business. Tomorrow we're starting. And so I haven't looked back. I've loved it. I have learned over time to listen and be open to going in directions you never thought possible to go into. And it all kind of works out.
It does,
To
doesn't it?
Chris's question about choice being the ultimate path of freedom, God gave us free will. God gave us the freedom to choice, but that doesn't necessarily lead anybody to freedom.
Nope. I like that. I like what you had to say. I like the way you say it. That was great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
What
Thank
part
you,
of Florida are
Carmen.
you from?
I live in Daytona Beach, so not too
Okay.
far from Philip. Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm heading down to St. Pete on the 9th, and then on the 11th, we're going over to Vero Beach and Melbourne to visit somebody, and then back to St. Pete, and then we're going to finish up the week in Orlando at a conference. So
Wow.
one
That's
day I'm going to be a Florida girl.
Woohoo!
And,
Yay, Carla.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
welcome you. We welcome you.
Yeah. Well, I'm taking care of my dad right now. He has dementia pretty bad. And so that, what I do allows me the flexibility and freedom to take care of him and learn a lot of patience. God doesn't give you patience. He gives you opportunities to practice your patience.
Oh boy, do I know that one, sister.
Right?
Woo, yeah.
Yeah. So
Indeed.
one day I'm going to be a Floridian on the west coast of Florida. So that's not too far from Daytona. So we'll get together.
I love it.
It's great to hear your story.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
So I'll go to you, Philip. What's your thoughts so far? And is choice the ultimate path to freedom?
I think it depends on. There's a lot of variables that go into that makes you make one choice over another with your background, just the way you live and everything. So just say I believe choices matter, and like with Lindsay saying, why when you let go and just accept it for what it is rather than trying to force it, letting it go natural, and to where you find out people are more comfortable. So, Lindsay, you and I have to talk because I'm already enamored with Isabel.
Well, and Philip, I know someone that you absolutely must meet. She's a co-host of my podcast that's called underwired.com, and her name is Shay Sparks. Isabel got to meet her too. But the two of you and your personal missions in supporting veterans in finding their purpose and passion and connection to what's next, she's like, a powerhouse, and she's here in the Titusville, Melbourne area. So
Oh, okay.
I will introduce the two of you. We'll figure out how to connect.
I would love to know her too.
Oh, of course, Chris, you're on the list always.
Hey, but I'm stealing your butterfly analogy. So
Go
just to
for
let
it.
you know.
It's
'Cause
not mine.
you know what? It makes sense.
Doesn't it
Because
though? Yeah.
the whole goo thing and releasing all its exterior and everything, and it's back to the primal ooze.
Primal ooze. I like ooze.
But
Very good.
hey, we're definitely going to talk. Thank you. And yeah, I do believe it. Choice plays a part in it, and what letting down all those filters and barriers and whatever, and seeing it for what it really is. Like Isabel said, there's no right or wrong in the universe. It's just the universe and how you want to perceive it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Philip.
Thank you so much, Philip. We greatly appreciate you. So I'll go to you, Isabel. Is choice the ultimate path to freedom?
What I would say, everyone, it's absolutely spot on. And there is no wrong choice. It is just an experience. And you're right, Bill. There is no wrong in the universe. So your choice is an exploration. And your choice is just, if you reflect on your choice, you can see if it was in a vibration of fear or a vibration in love. And that would just be a clue to your energy, to your vibration. And so choice can just be a learning tool, and you can soften around your choices. But this paradigm here is all about, it's almost like the glory of choice. Oh, you have a choice. Make the right choice. Make the right decision, right? Which is just ego based in a weird way, and that you can't make a wrong choice. It's all for fun, it's all for play. But bypassing the choice and being in stillness and connecting with your guides and your intuition, well, then you open yourself to infinite possibilities, infinite intelligence, to your true power. And that always vibrates in your highest excitement and in love. And so, this idea of a choice, it's almost like a folly.
Love it. Woo! I love choice.
That's a game.
It's just a game, and there's no wrong answer. Just go play. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, Isabel. We greatly appreciate you being a part of what we're building here, bringing humanity together, our great movement team and community. And we love what you have done with us each and every single time you have shown up, and just added so much value, and just damn, mind blown again, as it is. So, James, I got to ask you, sir, is choice the ultimate path to freedom?
Good question. I was telling Isabel that while this conversation is going on, and Lindsay is interested in this, my spirit guide is an indigenous warrior. She comes into my visions every now and then, and she cautions me of when something isn't right, or when someone is not truthful or is truthful. She shows herself, and she's got long black flowing hair, and it's just like it comes and goes. So, you know, yes, to answer your question, Chris, both are intertwined with each other. But we cannot separate the manifestation of what is here. And what is here is the aspiration of time. It's an example. It's an entity. It's a way for us to look at the future and say, do we hold it or do we let it go? Do we embrace it or do we ignore it? And what we choose to do with this manifestation is going to really embody our ability to come together as the human family. But when we separate and manipulate and dissect what's here, we got a problem because we're not using this. We're not using our hearts. We're not using our minds. We're not using our souls. We're using a blank canvas instead, and we're putting up a big wall in between the infrastructure that we have from the higher spirit, whatever you want to call them, God, Allah, this, that, whatever you want to call them. We're putting up a wall. And if we put up a wall, then what's going to happen? We're going to walk into it. And when we walk into that wall, we better be prepared because it's either going to knock us over or it's going to beat us into the ground, one way or the other. But we have to be prepared. And there are clues all around that say that the light is the changer of the inward being. So, that's to answer your question, Chris.
Thank you so much, James. I greatly appreciate you. So, Lindsay, then the question then becomes, I got to ask you, would you like to be a part of what we're building here at Bringing Humanity Together?
I think I already am.
But everyone else needs to know. Do they not?
I guess so. I mean, so what I would just ask back is, well, what does it mean to become, just show up on these calls now and then?
Just show up as who you are.
Well, then
there's your start right there.
I'm a yes. And I know that this is fun and I really enjoyed getting to know everybody. Thank you.
Yes. And I'll give you my take on the choice. Is choice the ultimate path to freedom? I truly believe it is, and here's why. Because what does decision show us? Decision in its root form, in the base word, is literally means to cut off and everything like that. But see, when you have choice, you can actually have infinite possibilities and options at your fingertips because, again, at the end of the day, you're allowing that to occur. And it literally, to me, Lindsay, it's about becoming so aware that you're literally in a state of being and you see that in and of itself. And if you allow that, not only for yourself, but for others, next thing you know, everything will start to get into alignment because, see, you're allowing that. And I truly love that.
Yeah. I think one of the fun things about free will, my favorite movie back in the past was the movie where Jim Carrey becomes God. And I'm trying to remember the name of the movie right now, but it's not coming to me, but I love that movie. And I think that that's an example of what choice can look like and what it means to not be able to influence or change someone else's choice. Their path is their path. Their choices are theirs, and they're here to discover what they're here to be for humanity. And I just love it. I think that's amazing. Thank you for this chance to talk to everybody. Chris,
yeah, and we're going to have more of these moving forward. And like I said, Lindsay, I would love for you to be a part of what we're building here. So thank you so much for your time today, Lindsay. It's been a great and inspiring show with you today. So from all of us here at Bringing Humanity Together, have a great day. Make your day. We'll see each other tomorrow for our Bringing Humanity Together community event. going beyond the paycheck. See you there tomorrow on 3 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time via Google Meet. If you'd like to know the details, send me a message and we'll make sure that you get that details. So have a great day. Make your day, everyone. We'll see each other tomorrow at 3 o'clock on our Bring Humanity Together event. Have a good one, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.